What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. I appreciate you guys stopping through for another episode. Today, we're going to touch up on those Jacksonville Jaguars. Look at some of the weapons that they're going to have at their disposal when they come into Acrisure Stadium this Sunday to face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Two up-and-coming football teams. The Jaguars 5-2, the Steelers 4-2. Two teams that are really starting to find themselves and really starting to add wins in the column. And really starting to look good. And the Jaguars are maybe a little bit further ahead than the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think this is a game that will really put the Steelers on the map and really get people talking about them, really create a buzz about this football team if they're able to handle Jacksonville in a convincing fashion this Sunday. But first, I want to talk about something that's really been bugging me all day since I've seen it. I saw a video, Big Deke News, he puts it out. I like to watch him. He's pretty funny sometimes. So I like to watch him sometimes. And he was talking about what the NFL Twitter account was doing and how they put up on the screen, which is kind of shitty, a big banner of Myles Garrett and a caption saying, actually the headline for their page saying, Myles Garrett, depoy, ? I gotta say something, man, and I really have to get it off my chest because it's starting to bother the shit out of me. We have the world's greatest defensive player in football, in TJ Watt. Period, point blank. You can't argue it. The numbers don't lie. And the one thing that matters the most is TJ Watt can change a damn football game. He can change the outcome of a football game from the defensive side of the football, and that is truly a hard thing to do. Yes, defensive players can turn the tide sometimes and get a big interception or here or there. But TJ Watt, week after week, is able to provide big game-changing plays that allows his football team to get in a position to win. This football team without TJ Watt could easily be under 500. TJ Watt is a total, complete game changer, game wrecker, point blank, period. And if you can't even, correction, let me slow down here a little bit. You couldn't put Myles Garrett's name in the same sentence as the great TJ Watt. And I'll say that. Myles Garrett is a respectable, good football player on his own. And I feel that he adds a great deal of good things to that Cleveland Browns defense. However, it's not in that great elite monster status, once in a generation type status that TJ Watt is in. TJ Watt is in a whole different playing field than any other player on defense in this entire league. His presence is felt week in and week out. He makes highlight reel plays week in, week out. It's not like you have Myles Garrett who comes to Pittsburgh and yes, he comes here twice a year, or we see him twice a year from the Steelers side. We see him. And I don't hear his name very often. And if your name isn't being called in big-time divisional rivalry games, then I don't know. You're just another player to me, in my opinion. You're just another guy. Yeah, you're a good ball player, but I don't think you're that elite talent. I don't think you're that once-in-a-generation type talent. And I have to say, I'm not sure why the NFL sweats Myles Garrett's nuts like they do. But they do, man. They sweat him bad, man. They love that dude for some reason. Where's the love for TJ Watt? I got to agree with Deke. Where is the love for TJ Watt, man? He is the absolute best football player on his team. He's the absolute best defensive player in the entire world, hands down. I don't even really have to say much. His statistics speak for itself. The outcomes of games speak for themselves. The highlight reel speaks for itself. I don't really have to argue that. Like I said, Myles Garrett isn't in the same category as a TJ Watt. That's point blank, period. And if anybody wants to argue it, I welcome that in the comments. Please do. Please argue that, because I would love nothing more than to show you TJ Watt's highlights, statistics, and just sheer ability to change a complete football game and turn it around and put his team in position to win week in and week out. Period. That's all. That's all I got to say about that, guys. And if you agree with me, please put it in the comments. Tell me what you think about the great TJ Watt. And not only is he a monster football player, but he seems to be a pretty humble damn dude. And he doesn't seem to be one of these typical superstar assholes that you see a lot of the times with huge egos and big time swelled up heads where they can't even fit through the damn door of the facility. Yeah, that's a big time thing for me too. And I'm not saying Myles Garrett is like some egotistical maniac. I'm not saying that at all. He seems to be pretty level-headed most of the time when I see his interviews. But I'm just saying, TJ Watt needs to get some love from the NFL before they keep crowning people Defensive Player of the Year. And I know it's way too early to say that. But TJ Watt, for what he is on pace for what he has done so far this season, you can't make a headline with Myles Garrett saying depoy and not have TJ Watt in that sentence. Period. You cannot. And if you're the NFL and you gave Myles Garrett that award, somehow he got it, whoever's casting those votes are a bunch of damn idiots. Point blank, period. Let's get off that. That's just my little rant. Like I said, put in the comments what you guys think about TJ Watt. And what do you think about the Myles Garrett nut sweating by the NFL? It's absolutely ridiculous and kind of crazy. Yeah, absolutely nuts, man. Let's move on to this Jacksonville Jaguars team, guys. I want to talk about them a little bit. And I want to talk about what they have coming in here. They're a high-flying football team, man, and they can do a lot of damage, and they can do it really quickly. Trevor Lawrence is a real deal, man. He proves why he is the first pick in the NFL draft. He is a true first-round talent, and he's really, really good, guys. And yes, he had last year where he threw a bunch of interceptions against the Chargers and ended up coming back in that football game. That was a bad game for him, but he finished well. So you can't hold that against him forever, but he's been pretty damn consistent. He has 1,643 yards against 8 TDs and 3 interceptions. He's completing almost 65% of his passes. He's been pretty accurate. He's been pretty clutch. And he's won games everywhere against top tier, low tier. Yeah, they have a bad loss, I thought, to the Texans, but the Texans beat the Steelers. I don't think the Texans are that bad of a football team right now. And Trevor Lawrence is pretty damn good, if you ask me. And the way he plays right now, he's looking poised, and there's nothing that's going to rattle him. I don't think crowd noise or anything like that's going to rattle him. I don't think being in any type of hostile environment is going to even get him off his game. I think you need to apply a lot of pressure to Trevor Lawrence, make him uncomfortable in the pocket, and really attack him from the middle of the defense and force him into throwing really highly contested throws. And I think you could put him into a position to where he can make some errors. But Trevor Lawrence is real key to this cog for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they're going to need every bit of Trevor Lawrence's talents when they come in here and they face a TJ Watt-led defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers. What worries me in this game is Travis Etienne. He's a hell of a running back, and he's really starting to get on track. And he has 504 yards, 7 touchdowns already. He's averaging almost 4 yards. Well, he is averaging 4 yards a carry. That's pretty good average. He's really starting to just be consistent and being that guy that they need in Jacksonville to go with a guy like Trevor Lawrence. They've played together for a while. They know each other. They're giving him the ball about 18 times a game, give or take, 18, 19 times a game. They maybe want to come into Pittsburgh and maybe give him the ball a little bit more because the Steelers sometimes have been known to be gashed by that run. And the Rams were running the ball down their throat at times without any type of big-name running back. And the Rams really did a nice job about running the football against the Steelers. And I've seen several performances this season to where teams were able to effectively run the ball against your Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yes, that average about 18, 19 times, 127 attempts so far this season through 7 games. Travis Etienne is the real deal, and he could be a wrecking ball, and he could be a game wrecker for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they're not able to get that pressure up the middle with a Keanu Benton, Larry O, DeMarvin Leal, the normal cast of characters. If they're not able to apply that pressure, the linebackers aren't able to play downhill and really help support that run game. The Steelers could be in trouble in this one, and we'll see. We'll break it down a little bit further after I watch some tape, watch some highlights on the Jaguars. before I'll go ahead and say that it's a done deal that he's going to come in here and just totally destroy the Steelers. But on paper, it looks pretty damn good for the Jaguars in the run game department, especially against that Steelers defense who's been known to get gashed by the running game. Let's move on to Christian Kirk, the wide receiver, Trevor Lawrence's favorite target, 39 catches, almost 500 yards, 3 TDs, averaging about 13 yards a catch, 12.5 yards a catch. He's been pretty reliable. He's been a good acquisition for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I feel like that they can really utilize him in Sunday's matchup, to where the Steelers have been also known to give up some big wide receiver numbers and give up some big yardage in the pass game. And the Steelers, where they're good is where they come down the stretch and they give up all these yards and they give up all these plays, but they come up with a timely turnover. They come up with a TJ Watt sack, an Alex Highsmith sack, a TJ Watt interception. One of the defensive backs get an interception. They come up with something that ends up foiling the offense's plan. So that's what they've been relying on so far this season. So let's see what the offense can do for the Steelers and keep them in this game, so the defense isn't forced to constantly have to make that big play. But Christian Kirk could be a true game wrecker also, coupled with Travis Etienne. Those are two weapons that Trevor Lawrence has at his disposal that could easily take over this football game. Let's turn to the defensive side of the football. Olakun, yeah, their linebacker down there. I'm trying to look right here just to pronounce his name right. I don't know. I'm not really great with pronouncing some of these eccentric names. I'm not sure sometimes. So 53 solo tackles for him, 81 total tackles. He has 1 interception, but no real glaring numbers, nothing. He hasn't forced a fumble. He hasn't had a sack or anything like that. So that might prove to be good for Kenny Pickett, because they don't really have big sack numbers on the Jacksonville Jaguars team. And their top tackler isn't a guy that's forcing all those fumbles, isn't really making those game splash plays, those game-changing type plays. So that's a guy, though, that can really get to the football, tackle the football, and really keep the Jaguars ahead of the sticks on defense and keep them off their heels a little bit. And I want to talk also about their cornerback, Williams. He has 24 solo tackles, 28 total tackles, but he has 2 forced fumbles and 3 interceptions. That's pretty key. Also, 11 pass defense. He seems to be the real deal at the cornerback position, and he seems to be playing really damn good football. I want to look at a little bit more of his highlights and some of the tape on the Jaguars and watch some of their defense and see where, they're good and where they're bad, and what kind of scheme they try to typically play. Things of that nature before, like I said, before I crown them the victor of this game on Sunday. But Williams could really be a game changer for the Jaguars. He has a nose for the football. He knows how to cause turnovers, and that's something you want if you're a defense, as the Steelers utilize those turnovers continually every week, and it's big time for them. And it's what the doctor ordered for a defense. You got to have those turnovers. You got to have those game-changing type plays, and Williams can provide them. So, guys, there's a lot of players on this Jaguars team. It's a pretty complete team. Those are just some of the highlighted names that I really wanted to talk about and really wanted to just give you guys a little bit of taste of, to be able to go and look up on your own and maybe watch some video on them and kind of break it down on your own and see what the Jaguars are working with ahead of our videos here on the channel, as we're going to break down the game a little bit further. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get out our keys to victory. I have a new phone coming tomorrow, so I'm going to actually start filming with that phone, because it's just going to be a way better, more high quality video in terms of just like quick videos like this. So I'm going to try to use that and get that set up once it comes, so my video won't come out probably until later tomorrow, as this one will also come out a little bit later in the day. So keep looking forward to the stuff coming out here on Mike Drop Sports. We're gaining so many subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been awesome. You guys are like running the total up every day. We're cruising toward that 1,000 mark. That's like one of the milestones you have to hit here on YouTube. So thank you guys. I appreciate it a lot. That's awesome. I never even thought I'd get 100 subscribers, let alone almost 700 now. So you guys, that are the original OG subscribers here. I always remember the people that comment, and we'll always make sure that I answer your comments and all that kind of stuff as we gain more subscribers. So I just want to always make sure that I comment on your stuff and make sure that I respond to you. You guys that are building the channel, I really, really appreciate it. So I don't want to ever not be able to respond to you or something like that as we get more comments and more things on the video. So as we move on, we're going to keep growing, but we're going to keep putting out real content, real shit, talking about real stuff. We're not going to do that big box media stuff, bullshit, that sweating like Myles Garrett's nuts, all that kind of stuff. We're going to really talk real stuff, so fan stuff. So we're going to keep it like that and keep it fan oriented. And we're going to, like I said, continue trying to do those live shows ahead or after the Steeler games. I'd appreciate if you guys log on, get that viewer count up, start asking some questions. That would be awesome to grow those live shows and to make them a little bit better and just to add a little bit of another aspect to the channel in terms of content. So I appreciate you guys. I'm going to sign off here, and we're getting a little long-winded. I like to keep these under 15 minutes usually, so we're a little over now. But I like to do that just so you're not like weighed down with a huge video you have to watch. But anyway, I'm going to move on here. Till next time, probably tomorrow, we'll break down the Jags Steelers game completely. And we'll continue to move on as the Steelers take on the Jacksonville Jaguars Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. So until next time, peace.